did bring.
Good evening on this was beautiful June evening on Saturday. It did rain a little bit, but it's still beautiful out there. My name is Robert Wilkins, and this is our 22nd edition of Citizens Minutes. Before I start, I want to say how sad and disappointed I am as an Auburn citizen that our former Auburn Chief of Police and now Auburn Councilman Tommy Dawson attacked in such an immature and uncaring manner at me during the last council meeting.
I think Ms. Whitten is exactly right. It's too impossible to respond now, but I appreciate her willing to do the work, but it doesn't matter what you find, he's not going to believe.
We quit wasting money.
It wouldn't matter what we said, it ain't going to satisfy you.
Thank you for your time, Mr. Wilkins.
Well, what
Thank you
about
for your
the
time, Mr. Wilkins.
No matter what we say,
Thank you for your
You're
time.
not going to be
Well,
satisfied with it. You're gonna
Thank you
look
for
at
your
her
time.
and come back and say something else.
He has the right to do that. Thank you for your time. No, sir. Please sit down. Please sit down.
We had a total of 6 citizens that spoke at the Open Citizens Forum. These citizens spoke on various topics such as obstruction of road view, proposed cut to SNAP by the big, beautiful bill, Horseshoe Ben Regional Library, appreciation for the work of the council, Waste Management Enterprise Fund incredible deficit because of excessive salary, wages, benefits, and the STR5 denying citizens property rights through arbitrary zoning laws.
Concern still is to the council that the visibility is not that good when you're coming off of Jordan and making a left onto Martin Luther King. The trees just, it's not good. You can't see unless you cut some of the undergrowth or the branches, then you can see, but you have to get all the way out in the road, and that's kind of dangerous to make that left turn. And then it's a black box to the right, and you can't really hardly see to the right. So the visibility, the scenery is pretty, but it's not that good to see. The visibility is not that good. So I wondered if somebody could come and just look at that. We would appreciate it.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank
yes,
you.
Ma'am. Ms. Crouch,
Yes,
yes.
we have multiple engineers right now looking at aerial photos and taking notes, and they'll be out to look, Public Works and Engineering at the site distance.
right.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aware that you are a nonpartisan body, but also aware that you are community leaders tasked with acting in the best interest of your citizenry. As the President's Big Beautiful Bill has moved to the Senate, I want to highlight one of the many provisions in the bill I find concerning the proposed cuts to SNAP. As the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities warns, this bill would cut nearly $300 billion from this Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, through 2034. And we would walk away from the 50-year bipartisan commitment to ensure that low-income children, adults, and seniors get the help they need regardless of where they live. Hunger, including childhood hunger, would soar despite the well-documented detrimental impacts of even short periods of food insecurity on children's health and cognitive development. Every $1 invested in SNAP for children returns $62 in value over the long term. But concerns don't end there, as a recent Newsweek explains. Because school meals are often tied to SNAP participation, changes to SNAP eligibility and coverage could lead to fewer children qualifying for free or reduced price lunches at school. It was at a city council meeting not long ago that you all as a body voted unanimously, I believe, to support the building of the new community market run by the Food Bank of East Alabama. So you obviously care about addressing hunger in our area and recognize that a need exists. But according to the Food Bank's director, Martha Hank, the SNAP program distributes 10 times more food than all food banks combined.
And I'm here modeling the t-shirt that Bob was telling you all about. And I apologize for my dress, but I was at Lake Wilmore working out this morning, And then I had to rush to a Horseshoe Ben Regional Library board meeting. And that's why I wanted to talk to you today. I don't know how many of you are familiar with what the Horseshoe Ben Regional Library is, but I figured you could do a little renewal on it. I am Auburn's representative on the board. I'm appointed by the Lee County Commission. They appointed Auburn and Opelika representative. But Horseshoe Ben Regional Library serves 4 counties: Lee, Tallapoosa, Elmore, and Coosa. And we are the flow-through agency for the state funds for all the libraries that are involved in the regional library. Located in Dadeville, nobody can walk into that library and check out books because that's not why it exists. It exists to get books to people who don't have access elsewhere, or to make it easier for them to get access. They have stops in Auburn where they do the bookmobile. They take books to retirement homes and to daycare facilities, some in Auburn, some in other parts of Lee County that have no access to libraries, some in these other counties. We are increasing the number of stops. So if you know somebody who's shut in, one of the things they do is deliver boxes of books to people who are voracious readers but can't get out. People out in the county can go to Auburn libraries, Opelika libraries, Alex City libraries. Any of the libraries in those counties have exchanged things where you're allowed to get a card at any of those libraries and use their resources. So someone who lives in Elmore County who doesn't have access to electronic books through their library can come get a card and then sit at home and check books out from Auburn or Opelika's library and have access to books they might not be able to access.
Really appreciate the opportunity to say hello. It's really neat who you run into in the community. I met one of your council members' families today. What a really, really neat family, Max. It was beautiful. But it's really neat being able to just have normal civil discourse with everyone. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Really do. And everything that you do. A special outreach to you, Beth. You do a great job of engaging our neighborhood, and I'm sure everyone does that in your respective neighborhood, in your wards, as you refer to it. But really appreciate you a lot, and people do too. They often mention that.
I had a speech about short-term rental, but I've got to go back to what I mentioned earlier. Somehow I didn't get across what was the point of it. Okay, first of all, I think it's terrible to take money out of the general fund. I thought it was great to have a fund that's self-supporting. It hasn't been self-supporting, but it hasn't for a while. It's been doing pretty well. And it had a balance in there, 1.1 million. This year, we're going to lose about $1 million. I figure because you lost $813,000 last year. Okay, so the fund I love. What I don't understand is why in 23 and 24, the employee benefits and the employee salaries and wages went astronomically up. What happened? She hasn't said a word. None of you even responded. I don't even understand. You can just allow $1 million just to disappear? Because it was $1 million increase from 22 to now in 24, not 25, because I don't know how much that'll be. So there has to be an answer. Second thing is, why do we have $84 million in the sewer fund? Are we building another sewer plant or something? Or why do we have that much money? We are gifted with lots of money. We have great revenue. And I'm concerned that we spend too much of it doing just here and there instead of helping people. We have a lot of money we can keep in house. Just like I mentioned you again, Griswold, Councilman Griswold, excuse me, is that you talk about the vehicles and so forth. If you would gather enough information and do your due diligence, you could convince this whole group to quit purchasing so many things. Because 870 plus units is way too many for this. I know some of them are front end loaders, some of them are, the Bobcats that you bought and all the different things. But I believe that money is it's no problem, We have so much money. But how can we spend $1 million more in benefits and employees on a fund that has $7.5 million that it operates on and $1 million increase in 2 years? 2 years. We're not talking about 2009 all the way to 2022 was a $200-something-thousand increase. Now we got $1 million. Do y'all not understand that? Have I done a poor job of explaining?
Reference to $84 million in the sewer fund. The sewer fund has a net position of $84 million. Net position consists of, number one, capital assets. Everything that we own in the sewer fund is made up of sewer lines, sewer plants, all of the things that go into that. Of that $84 million net position, $66 million of it is our capital assets. We have about $12 million. At the end of 2024, we had $12 million in unrestricted net position in the sewer fund. That's cash, not $84 million. So that's, just want to make sure that, because that's a big discrepancy.
I so appreciate Allison Edge, Auburn City Finance Director, for her clearing up my lack of understanding on the Sewer Enterprise Fund.
I appreciate, Mr. Wilkins, that you pay such attention to the workings of your city. I share the same opinions as my colleagues here. It's a little hard to just start responding to you in real time. It felt a little bit in the moment that you're clearly you demonstrated your passion about it, but we're not prepped in that manner that we can just respond in that way. I would encourage you to reach out to us in writing. I think writing is a very good way to, if you've got particular questions that you can reference some of the research material that you've come upon, and then just write us. And I don't think you'll find any of us unwilling to help you.
A week ago, we celebrated Memorial Day. Some were off work, some had celebrations, some attended wreath-laying ceremonies. Memorial Day is a sacred day, a day when we remember the men and women who laid down their lives for one reason: freedom. Not comfort, not convenience, but freedom. Memorial Day isn't just about flags and flowers, it's about responsibility. It's about remembering that every cross in Arlington represents someone who believed that American freedom, true freedom, was worth dying for. That freedom that our fallen heroes fought for includes property rights, the right to use, enjoy, and freely make decisions about our own land. Those rights are not trivial, they're not negotiable, they're foundational. They're embedded in our Constitution, and property rights are among the rights our fallen heroes died to protect. Yet right now, here in Auburn, that sacred freedom is being dishonored. The STR 5 on this council have passed arbitrary zoning laws that divide neighbor from neighbor. Two homes side by side, one allowed to do short-term rentals, the other banned. Same street, similar dwellings and appearance, but different realities. That's not law. That's favoritism. That's an overreaching government picking winners and losers, and our fallen heroes did not lay down their lives for this nonsense. And what's worse, 2 of our council members wore the uniform of the United States military. 2 of you took an oath to support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. The oath did not have an expiration date, and violating the principles of our Constitution here at home makes a mockery of the sacrifices of those we remember on Memorial Day. Meanwhile, we have council members willing to fight for sexually explicit material in public libraries, but not for a homeowner's constitutional property rights. We have a retired police chief on the council who once read people their Miranda rights, but won't stand up for constitutional property rights of the very citizens he swore to protect. Let's be clear. Freedom includes the right to own property, to use it, to control it, not just when the city says you can, and not only if you're on the right side of an arbitrary zoning line. A columnist in the Auburn Villager recently wrote, "Every day should be Memorial Day." I agree. So I'm asking all of you on this council, let's honor the fallen by doing more than remembering them. stand up for what they died for, defend freedom, not just with words, but with actions. Rescind Ordinance 3288, because protecting freedom is how we truly honor their sacrifice.
So moved. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I just like to remind folks, it's not just the two veterans up here, but all of us took an oath to uphold the Constitution. And I think we've done the best that we can on this. And, we've been through court cases and everything else about the short-term rental thing, and we'll never hear the end of it, I'm sure. But it is truly insulting to even mention Memorial Day when arguing that, for a few folks to make some money off their property. That's just insulting. And the other thing is that, citizens are free to come up and speak about whatever they choose. But just as a reminder, this is a nonpartisan body, and there are some issues that are simply outside of our local deliberation consideration. So I just need to remind everybody about that.
Thomas Jefferson said, "I predict future happiness for the Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the laborers of the people under the pretense of taking care of them." Citizens question. Jody asked, "Please explain what your research found out concerning the Waste Management Fund steep increase in yearly expenses over the last 2 years." Well, Jody, I had a lot of citizens ask me that same question. I looked at the numbers from 2009 to 2024 of the Waste Management Enterprise Fund. There were only marginal increases in all line items until 2023 and 2024, where the line items salaries just of the wages and salaries and employee benefits made up over $1 million of the $1.4 million loss. There will be more financial details within 2 days in another's Auburn Voice production of Be Informed Waste Special Edition. Please make comments or become a guest speaker on Citizens Minutes by going to nextdoor.com or youtube.com. Your counsel is only as good as the information that you gather. Good evening.